welcome back if you're new here. My name is Mina, and if you are also new here, then you do not know that I have embarked on a journey. Mr. Christopher Nolan is coming out with a movie in July on my birthday, and it is called The Odyssey, and I want to go see it because I think it's going to be a very interesting, fun time, and I've always been obsessed with Greek mythology. And so when I found out that this movie was coming out, and I had at the same time done some research about where to start when it comes to like Greek myths and how to study them and how to learn more about them, I was told that one should read the Iliad and the Odyssey first and foremost. So the movie is called The Odyssey, which means the movie is based off of the book The Odyssey, as one would assume. And I read the Iliad in this video right here. I'll also link it down below. I had a great time. It was my very first epic poem, my very first adventure. The challenge continues. I'm going to be reading the Odyssey next. The way that I did it with the Iliad, if you didn't see the video, I split it into 50-page increments, and I would read 50 pages a day for however long it took to read the book. I'm starting this on the 20th of February. This is the story of the Odyssey, which is a continuation of the Iliad, and in the end of this video I'm going to be watching the trailer for the movie. I'm very excited. I don't know if I'm going to split it into different like stickers, because this book is only 420 pages. I feel like I'll have an easier time going into this because I already know the writing style, and I know most of the characters, and I know what's going on, and I understand the plot. I'm going to start this week, and we are going to see how long it takes me to read the Odyssey. Actually, believe it or not, because if you watch the Iliad video, it took me ages to actually begin the Iliad book because I was just so intimidated by it. But now that I know the story, and now that I know the characters, and now that I know what I'm actually talking about and what the story is about, I felt a little more confident going into the Odyssey versus going into the Iliad, naturally, as anyone would going into their first epic poem. I kind of went into it thinking, what if I could see how fast I could finish it while understanding the story. So I'm still doing the little summaries at the end of every book. So if you do not know, if you didn't watch the Iliad video, if you didn't read any of them, whatever, if you're just watching it to watch it, thank you. But also they're split into books instead of chapters. So I think the Iliad had 24 books. I am now on this is where I am. I'm on page 198 on book 6. This follows still the same cast of characters. If you have not read them, I'm not going to bore you with the details. If you're not interested in that, you could do a quick search, I'm sure, and know what they're about. But basically, the Iliad was about the Trojan War against the Greeks and why it started and what happened and who won. And it had Achilles and Odysseus and Agamemnon and Menelaus and all of whatever, and all the Greek gods and goddesses, obviously. It was a very huge cast of characters. This one, I know the characters a little bit better, even though there is a handful of characters that are new that we haven't been introduced to until this book. He got held up at like a remote island by this person, this goddess who found him, or I guess a nymph or something, found him after the war. He was with Agamemnon. Agamemnon got ended, which was crazy. That was crazy on its own. The way that he got ended by his wife's lover with her approval. It's crazy because if you read the Iliad, you know that he was fighting for her. That's so insane. Odysseus gets captured by this this person and gets put on a remote island, and we see his son. It's basically, so far, it's just been his son and his mother and the people trying to be suitors to his mother, who is now a widow because they all think that Odysseus is dead, but we know that he's not because we get told from the beginning that he's been held up in a remote island. And actually, he just got out. The place that I stopped at, he just left. Still the same cast of characters with a couple of new people sprinkled in. We get told what happened to the other characters from the other book and what their fate was like after the war was over and everything. And Odysseus is the only person that's not back from the war yet. That's why everybody's like, oh, he's dead. He's absolutely dead. For sure he's dead. But he's not. And so now his son, Telemachus, couldn't tell you how to say his name out loud. I read it perfectly though. He's on a journey now to go find him and bring him back so his mother doesn't have to marry again, and then he doesn't have to be an orphan without a father, because now the gods have basically given him a blessing saying, yes, he's alive, you can go look for him and whatever. So that's where I'm at. I have not filmed anything because my phone ran out of charge and ran out of space, and my SD card is full. So I started editing the Iliad video today, which is great news for me because then that means I can free up some space so I can film for you. The plan today is that I stop at page 220, which would be right here. That's why I have this little marker in here, and that would be book 8. And then I'll try to read like 100 pages for the next 2 days because today is Friday. Today is Friday the 20th. I'm hoping to get it done before Tuesday or by Tuesday because I'm busy and I do not want to be spending more time with this than I have to. The story is following really, really quickly. I just jumped into it. We jumped into running. So it hasn't been as slow as the Iliad was for some reason. And it's also shorter, which is great news. I'm very excited to continue on. Like I said, we'll finish at page 222 or 220. And I'm on page 198 right now. So that's like 20-ish pages. That's where we're at. I'll see you when I pick it up. It is another day and the glasses are on, which means I mean business. Today is February 21st, if I'm not wrong, because yesterday was the 20th, which is when I started the Odyssey, and today is day 2. I actually did read the pages that I said that I was going to read yesterday, so I ended on page 220 for book 8, on book 8, I guess. And it's really, really interesting. What I really noticed about this book is that it actually is going by very, very quickly. I honestly think if I wasn't so busy this weekend, then I would be able to finish it this weekend because it's just so easy and it's less draggy than I think the Iliad was. I think the Iliad had a lot of action and a lot of stuff going on and a lot of like battles and whatever, but at some points it really dragged. For me, the Odyssey has not dragged as much, I don't think, at all, really, honestly. I'm enjoying this a lot more, the beginning of this at least. I'm enjoying the beginning of this a lot more than I did for the Iliad, but I think that's also partly because I didn't know what the Iliad was about when I started it, and so it took me a bit of time for me to like read the story and get to know the characters and get to know what the conflict was or how it happened or why it started and whatever. So, and plus there was like a huge cast of characters. We're talking, I think the first book or the second book, the first day that I was reading, which I believe I read book 1 and book 2 until the end of book 2, it was just like detailing the amounts of people that were in the war, in the battle. So it's like each city and who came from it and who was leading the army and where they came from and all of that. So I think because of that, going into it was like a little bit overwhelming because I've never read a book with that many characters, I don't think. With this one, I'm not dragging. I think it's really, really fascinating. Actually, I think I might prefer this one over the Iliad, which is so strange because I didn't think that was going to happen. It's just such an interesting story. His wife is like waiting for all these suitors and she keeps telling them like, yeah, I'll marry somebody when I finish weaving this like funeral shroud, and she keeps undoing it every night, and just so she doesn't have to marry somebody, and all these suitors are just lingering in the house and eating the food and drinking the wine that belongs to Odysseus because they all think that he's dead and they're trying to court his wife and have her pick somebody. And so his son gets really pissed off. He's like, hey, can y'all just not be here? Like, go somewhere, please. And then Athena comes to him and she's like, hey, I heard through the grapevine, she obviously comes in disguise. She doesn't show him that she's a goddess, but she tells him, hey, go to Sparta and go to, I think it was Pylos, and ask about your father, because I don't think he's dead. I've heard some things through the grapevine. And so he basically goes on this journey, and then we cut there and we follow Odysseus as he gets out of this remote island that he's been stuck on, and that's why everybody thinks he's dead, is because Agamemnon got killed, and so he was alone, and then something happened, I don't remember what exactly, but he ended up getting stuck on this remote island with this person, Calypso, and she doesn't want to let him go, and so the gods had to get involved and be like, hey, you gotta let this man go, you gotta let him go somewhere. And so he leaves, and now he's on a journey to basically go back to where he came from, but he doesn't have any wood, he doesn't have any help, nobody knows that he's alive, and so he has to figure everything out on his own. So I'm really enjoying it so far. Pacing wise, story wise, character wise, this one is much easier to read than the Iliad. And also they brought up this woman, Nausicaa, which, if you know anything about Studio Ghibli, there is a movie that has Nausicaa in it. I think this is what it looks like, and it's on my list of movies that I want to watch. So I'm like, oh, is it inspired by whatever's happening here? That's going to be so interesting to watch it now. I also listened to the first song of the epic, the musical, which is based on this, and it makes sense because I heard the first song and I was like, oh yeah, he's just detailing everything that is going on in this book. I don't know what I expected, but it wasn't that. But yeah, he basically is just like, hey, we're gonna go and do this and whatever. And I think the vocals are crazy. The vocals are really nice. I didn't really pay as much attention as I should have, so I think I'm gonna take a moment at some point throughout the week and just actually listen to it through, or maybe I'll listen to it after I read the book, because then I know the story and I don't get spoiled for anything. I don't know, we'll see. My goal, which I would be so happy with if I ended up at today, would be to be at page 332, which is book 14, and it's only this little, so that shouldn't be too crazy, which is insane because if I finish it today, when I finish it today, I'll have less on this side, which is the unread side versus the read side. That's crazy. I mean, it's not saying much considering the fact that all of this is just like introduction, translation note, maps, and whatever, but still, I think that's pretty cool. You guys, Circe has been mentioned. So much stuff has happened. I am so enjoying myself with this book that I just like forget to update you about what's going on. So basically, Circe, if you do not know who she is like a witch goddess type thing, and she has a book of her own written by, I believe it's Madeline Miller, the same person who wrote The Song of Achilles. This is what it looks like. I read this book months and months and months ago, probably years at this point, and it's always stuck with me because I appreciated the character of Circe so much, because you just see her go through so much and change so much over the story, and she's just one of my favorite people to read about. And so when she showed up, I was so excited, and I wish that I had read Circe now after reading the Odyssey and the Iliad, because I feel like it would hit a lot more, because then I would understand where she falls into the story, because I had no idea that she was like actually mentioned, because sometimes like there's stories that will be written about like minor characters and stuff like that, but Circe is actually a really big character in this book. She becomes Odysseus's lover, which is insane. I knew it was her when they mentioned like an island on its own and it had smoke flowing out of it, and there was a goddess like singing, and I was like, wow, that is Circe. And I was so right. And then also she turns Odysseus's men into pigs, which I thought was also a nod towards Studio Ghibli, obviously, with Spirited Away, when the parents become pigs. And I was like, wow, Spirited Away and Nausicaa in the same book. Like, maybe Studio Ghibli is more inspired by outside things than I thought. I thought it was just, I don't know that I ever thought about Circe like in detail in the book. So I don't really remember if she turns the men that come into animals. I do know that she has like men that flow in and come out of the island. It's been a minute. I really need to refresh my brain on that book. But seeing the men get turned into pigs was like a click of being like, oh my god, this is another Studio Ghibli reference, which actually I think Studio Ghibli probably came after this book. So Studio Ghibli was giving a nod to the Odyssey twice with Nausicaa and this. I mean, it could come from other parts, but like I haven't read anything where it's like so obviously inspired by the other. I'm so enjoying myself with this book. I honestly could read it for the rest of the day and would not have a problem, but obviously I still have to edit the Iliad vlog, so I'm doing that after I finish my hour of reading that I have left. I think it's like 2:30 something right now currently, and I'm on page 279, like I said, so I only have this little bit left, and I'm on book 11, and today I end on book 14, so I have only 3 more books to read. They like came across giants and cyclops, and like there was a prophecy that got that I guess got played through, and then like Poseidon's son was a cyclops, which I was like, what? Obviously it would make sense because of who Poseidon is, but I never thought about it that way. So basically my mind is getting blown left and right, and I'm really enjoying myself with the story, and I'm just really excited to continue. They stay on Circe's island for a year, and then the men are like, hey, we should probably get back home. Like, let's go home. And Circe tells them that they have to go. Well, she tells Odysseus, and Odysseus tells his men that he has to go, and the rest of them have to go to Hades to ask like this blind prophet person, I guess, to find a way to get back home, because apparently he only has the answer. So Hades is about to come into play, which then puts into question, is Persephone also about to come into play? And Demeter? Like, I know these people. What is going on? I'm genuinely so distraught over the fact that I know these people in here. When I read the Iliad, I knew like a general idea of who Zeus and Athena and Ares and like Hera and Helen and all these people were, but this one I'm genuinely like, I know these people, and I watched and read several other things about these people, and now I'm reading like this source work. This is the source material, which is insane. Pomegranates, I knew it. And also I know him, and also Hercules. What is going on? Like, I'm so much more informed about this book than I was about the Iliad. I knew it. I knew she'd be brought up. My queen. Book 12. We only have 13 and 14. I'm getting there. Oh, don't mind my summaries. Because the end of book 12, like, can we just... So they end up on the island of the sun, and basically Circe was like, hey, don't touch any of the stuff that's over there. Don't touch the cows, don't touch the sheep, don't touch nothing, because if you do, it's going to be very horrible for you, and it's going to take you even longer, and all of your men will die. Odysseus tells this to everybody. He even wants to escape the entire island. He's like, let's just ignore the island, let's go somewhere else, keep going. And then this one guy is like, no, but we want to rest, and we've been through some stuff, and you know, you don't want your men to rest. Wah. So they stop at the island, and he tells them, he's like, hey, don't touch anything here. It's gonna be really awful for all of us if you do. They're like, okay, cool, sure. Some time passes, and then what do? The same man that told him, hey, let's stop and rest here, is like, he looks to the other man and he's like, hey, there is no death worse than famine. Let's kill these sheep. And they do. Like, he literally openly told you, do not go and do this. And then you turn around and do that. Like, I'd be so pissed, bro. I'm like trying to think about, like, if I was Odysseus and I'm trying to go home and these men just ruined everything for me, I'd be pissed. I can't even imagine. Like, you had this one simple thing not to do, And then what do? You turn around and do it. When I specifically told you not to do it. And it's this one man. It's like, how is he so, like, influencer type beat that he influenced all these other men to do his bidding? Like, I just don't. I'm so annoyed. I'm so annoyed. Technically the last book of the day, but I'm feeling crazy. I think I might read book 19 too. Finishing the Odyssey tomorrow. Like, that's insane. I'm finishing the Odyssey in 4 days is wild. I love little reunion scenes. This makes me so sad. Oh, it's the first time he sees his son as an adult. And like, it's the first time for Telly to like actually meet his father. Because he didn't know anything when the war was happening because he was an infant. If human wishes could come true, my first would be to have my father come back home. Oh my god. I'm gonna go be in my feelings for a bit. Honestly, I did say that if I finished before 1 p.m. that I would read book 19. And honestly, the way that things are going, like book 19 ends at 444, so that's like 20 pages. And then the rest is just book 20. Oh! Wait a minute. What was I on? What? There's more than 20 books in here. What am I talking about? All this time I've been thinking that this only has 20 books. It doesn't. This has 24 books. So the same as the Iliad. Okay. No, that makes sense. Okay, so if I read book 19 and stop at book 20, that means I'm reading 4 books tomorrow, which should be fine because that's less than 100 pages since the book ends on 425. I was gonna say, because that doesn't make sense for book 20 to be like 80 pages on its own. We're finishing on book 20 today, not book 19, which I'm not too mad about. Wanted to really quickly let you know that it is the end of the day and I finished my pages for the day, so I will be finishing the Odyssey tomorrow, which is such a crazy thing to say. I did end up having some time to sit and edit for a bit, which was really successful. I think I should be able to finish editing tomorrow if I really put my mind to it, even if it's just the first rough draft without like any music or any background stuff or any like special editing. Even if I just get through all of the content and like export it that way, that would really be helpful for me. So hopefully that's what I'm going to be able to do tomorrow. But for the first beginning of the day, what I'm really going to focus on is to finish the last 4 books of the Odyssey and finish the Odyssey, which is crazy because then I get to watch the trailer for the movie, which is insane, and it will be the end of February, but not really because I think it's like the 23rd tomorrow or the 22nd. Insane, when I thought I would be finishing it on the 28th. I'll see you tomorrow for the last day. I'm so excited. Odyssey by Homer. And I gotta say that I think I enjoyed this so much more than I enjoyed the Iliad. Don't get me wrong, the Iliad was really, really fun, really, really interesting, and also it was exciting because it was my very first epic poem. But with this one, I had so much more fun because the story was moving the entire time. There was no lagging, everything was going on all at once. What would I rate it? I think because I rated the Iliad 3.5 stars, which is what I think I'm going to submit my rating as, I'm going to give this one a 3.75 stars because I think it deserves it. It was really, really fun to read. It was really interesting. It was really entertaining. Actually, I had so much fun reading this one, and I also read it in a very, very quick time, which I didn't think I was going to be able to do. The characters were easier to follow along with. The story was easier to follow along with. There was less confusion because I feel like there was a little less chaos with the characters and a smaller cast of characters, so it was easier to know who the person was talking about whenever somebody was talking about somebody. I think it was easier to read and less confusing to read, and for that reason I can't give it anything other than a 3.75 stars. Would I recommend it? Absolutely. Did I listen to Epic the Musical while reading it? No, but I did, like I said, listen to the first song of the musical, and I think it's really, really fun. I really like the vocals in it because I think the vocals are done so well. Will I listen to it after I finish this video? Probably, but I think right now I'm so overwhelmed with like keeping up with everything that I have to read that I haven't had time. And also, like I said, I also want to read like stuff that I want to read, like new releases, stuff that I'm interested in reading. I also want to reread an Emily Henry. Would I reread it? Absolutely. Would I recommend it? Absolutely. I think I would recommend this over the Iliad anytime, any day, because the Iliad is really, really confusing, especially if you've never read anything like it. And this one feels a little bit more digestible. And you know what that means. We are going to be watching the trailer. I only know that Anne Hathaway is in it, I think, if I'm not mistaken, and maybe Tom Holland. Oh, that's so cool. That's so sick. Oh, Tom Holland. Anne Hathaway. Wait, is Anne Hathaway playing Penelope?
Not even me.
Wait, so is Tom Holland playing Telemachus? Telemachus? Oh, shoot. Is this the Cyclops? Oh my god, it is. Wait, that's so fun.
Promise me you will come back. What if I can't?
You would never say such a thing. Wow. That was so cool. This is gonna be so fun. I'm so excited to see the movie, and I am so excited to continue on with this journey of reading all these books. Next is going to be the Aeneid. I couldn't tell you. I haven't looked up how to say the name because I'm like, I'll do it when it's time, when it's closer to the time of me reading it, which as of right now, today is February 28th, and I'm going to be reading the Aeneid sometime next month. The plan right now is to read like a little fun book in between, and then I'll pick up the Aeneid like towards the beginning of the month because I don't want to leave it until the end of the month and then end up stressed out. I did pick it up today from the library. I'm not buying my own copy, and it's 350 pages in total, so it's smaller than both the Iliad and the Odyssey, so I think it should be a little bit easier. I think I could probably read it over the span of 3 days. I don't want to say that out loud now that I've just said that because I feel like my brain has now taken on that challenge of being like, yeah, I'm gonna read the Aeneid in 3 days, which honestly is like 100-something pages a day, which I did with the Odyssey, except I did it for over a longer period of time, so I don't know. But anyways, we continue on with this journey of reading these scary, scary books that scare me so badly, but I'm less scared now, I will say, because I feel like now that I know the translation and now that I know the story, I have no idea what Aeneid is about. I do know, I looked it up and I think it's about how Rome came to be, and if you know anything about me, then you know Rome is my motherland. I love Rome. I was at Rome 2 years ago by myself for a solo trip, so this is going to be so interesting to read about because I just think it's fascinating over there, and I would go back again. Like, it would be my 3rd time going back just because I love it so much. And I think it's going to be so interesting to read a book about a place that I've been and a place that I absolutely adore. That's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed. Let me know down below if you've ever read the Odyssey, if you've ever read the Iliad, if you watched the movie trailer, what you thought about it. And let me know if you want me to continue making these videos for the next 4 books. I'm honestly making these videos because I want to, and it's so fun to watch myself actually enjoy an epic poem. I will see you when I see you for the next video, and I hope you're doing well, and I hope you're treating yourself well. Bye!